it's Lisa. Welcome to the month of March. March is going to be special because we're going to be concentrating on mists. I'm calling it Mist-ical March. Now, if you're not a mist person, that's fine. I'm still going to be doing sketches and the regular process video, but in every page, in the pages in the series, there'll be something to do with using our mists. I wanted to get a little bit more out of some of my products. Back in January, I took the same sketch and did the same sketch several times. I know several of you want to see that series again, so we'll do that sometime later in the year. And in February, I did lay out a day, so I did all kinds of different pages, and a lot of them I used my sketchbook from 2013. So it seemed like each month was having a theme, so I decided to do Mist for March. My page today are some pages from a magician's act that we went to see, and it was really a lot of fun. This guy is a real entertainer. He knew how to work the audience. It was fun for all ages kind of thing. In fact, there were probably a lot more adults there than there were children. So we really enjoyed it. And I have some photos. They're not the best photos in the world when you're trying to take pictures from the audience and it's dark most of the time. But I want to use these on this background paper. This is from Bo Bunny. It's the Modern Mist collection. And I have had it laid out like this every time I've looked at it with the photos, and this is the way I want to use it. However, it's upside down because you can see my banners are going up, and you know, from the branding strip, that it really should be the other way around. I just don't like it as well the other way. I've tried it and I like it this way. And my feeling is that 10 years from now, if I'm looking through my scrapbook, or anybody else is looking at it, they're not going to say, oh my, her banners are upside down. You know, I mean, I just don't think that's going to be the thing that jumps out about the page. If it is, then I've done something wrong in doing the scrapbooking. So I'm going to leave it with the red on top because that's the way I like the look. I think it frames. I want these two photos on top, and I think that it really frames those the best to be that way. Now, in terms of using mist, a lot of times we use mist to sprinkle it on the page, and we mist stencils, and we'll do some of those kinds of things. But for this particular page, I don't think that sprinkling on the page is the best choice. I could take my Heidi Swapp gold mist and do that, and it would, you know, create some kind of little gold droplets along the page. However, I think that's going to take away from this background instead of add to it. So I may do some things with the background, but I don't think that's going to be it. I'm going to use the mists. I know for sure I'm going to use them on the title. I have a lot of these thickers from American Crafts, these mistable thickers, and they show it here with Mr. Huey Mist, but it works with any of the kinds of mists. It also works with lots of other things, with inks, with paints, with chalks. I've used these with a lot of different things, and you can see I like them a lot. I really stocked up when 2 Peas in a Bucket sold them out. They are still available, though. I saw them at Hobby Lobby just yesterday. They had 2 different styles of these, so I know that you can still get them, and I've just used them as plain white letters from time to time. But I have a kind of a long title, and these are not real big letters, so they're going to work well for the title. And I have some other ideas of how we can use mists on the page. Another product I know that I want to use on the page are these vellum pieces. These are from Crepe Paper, from Maggie Holmes' collection, I believe. I think they're new stuff. They're from the latest CHA. So I'm planning to put the circles out there, and I want them to look like they're kind of floating on this background. In fact, I don't want anything to look like it's really anchored that much to the background. Oh, there's my sketch right in front of me. So I've got my circles and my photos, and my title's going to go through the middle, and I want my title to curve. I couldn't get, used to be that WordArt would let you create these curvy things in the Microsoft Office products. I couldn't get it to do that yesterday on my computer. But anyway, so I want my title to curve, and I'm going to have my drilling down here, and I may anchor things just a little bit at the bottom to work in one of these pretty papers from Bo Bunny, probably this one that goes with the collection, because I think I like that. I just really like this paper, so I'd like to work it in a little bit on the page. So those are my plans, and I need to cut these photos apart and probably flip those around and get started building that pretty title with the mists. I'm pulling the letters off of several different sheets here. It's kind of mixing up the fonts. One of them has sort of a mixed font kind of look anyway. And I'm going to have the word really, as in really fun, and I thought that I would do it in just some stickers. I put fun over here to the side, but you'll see me move it in a moment because I'm figuring out in a hurry that I don't have quite enough room to go just straight across with this. I'm also going to need an ampersand before I'm done to do my and. So now I'm putting the fun underneath, really. And I'll move that up. Right now it's mostly about spacing. One ampersand was that different kind of font, you know, that looks more like an E, and I'm not real crazy about that. Anyway, I've got a couple of different mists here. I'm going to start with the word magical in the gold Heidi Swap mist. I'm trying to give this a base coat, and then I'll add some red over the top of it. And the gold mist has, of course, the shine to it, and this Delusions, which tends to go everywhere when you spray it. I tested it, but it just sprays a wide spray. It will just give it the pinkish color. Now this one, I had the night arranged in a circle there because I was trying to do more of an ombre effect with mist more in the middle and working out. I've done that kind of thing before. With these letters, with this being canvas, it just absorbed it all over, as you'll see in a few moments. We're going to come back and do some more to the word night. For now, though, I'm taking some Studio Calico mist and just doing 3 letters. I put it on a sponge. Because that way I don't spray so much mist all over the place, especially a red mist, and I can control where it goes pretty easily. Since I had my sponge left, I decided to do a little bit more sponging. I took a stencil, this is the Jenny Bolin stencil, the star shape, and put some on the vellum. The only problem with this is because this was vellum and it's slick, it kind of smeared a little bit. If you do it on paper, that doesn't really happen so much, but it still gives it a nice effect to that gold vellum. And the word magical is really pretty. You'll see in the close-ups of that later on, it has the gold base and then that cherry color over top, not real intense. What I didn't like, though, was the word night. It just was an all-over silver, and I didn't feel like it was dark enough. So I decided to just paint a little bit more on. In addition to the sponge, another way you can add mist is with a paintbrush. Use an old one because it will stain. And a thick or a stiff paintbrush works really well for this. So I just added a little bit more mist there to the word night. And then I'm doing what my favorite thing about the layout is I'm going to add a gold, sort of paint some gold mist across, kind of as a base for the letters. Taking my pencil and marking very lightly where I want this to go, because I'm not going to be able to erase this. It's going to have mist over the top of it. So this is a pencil mark that has to stay. And I have a tendency to do them real dark, but I got this one pretty light. Taking again an old stiffer paintbrush and just putting that in the mist and then brushing it on to create a line for my lettering, so it has something to sort of follow and to help it show up a little bit better. And you can see it's already starting to get that pretty shine to it, and I just add a little bit more of this. It's kind of starting in the middle so I don't get so much gold on one end. We'll let this dry. And when it comes back dry, it does buckle the paper a little bit. This did not bother me, but that's just something to be aware of. If you're going to paint mist on, mist is very watery, so it is going to make your paper buckle a little bit, but I just loved that look with the gold. Add a little extra shine, and I glued those 2 top photos down, so I'm just going to glue this bottom one down. Let's speed up the video here. I'm using my ruler and my gridded mat so I can get it on there straight and in the center, because everything is sort of lined up down the center of this page. Now when I put letters on, of course, normally I start in the middle and work out, but it's hard to figure out where the middle is of this. So I figured it was going to take most of the space. So I just started over on the far left and worked my way across following that gold line, and I could still see a little bit of that pencil mark.
When I got to really fun, though, I had it at a bit of an angle, and I realized that it probably needed to be straighter. So I ended up straightening it up a bit and moving a few things over before I finally glued everything down. And so I have it glued down, and you can see some of that gold shine here. It really adds to it. I'm not sure I like the curve that I created, but I do like the gold. And I've added the journaling and vellum. I didn't really have a good place to work that paper in. It was just too heavy for the whole look, so I'm going to have to save that for another project. Now I've got my little pieces of vellum here. The one I stamped, I'm going to put up there at the top, more of the golds towards the top where I have the red, and more of the reds towards the bottom, so they'll show up there. And there's one I'd already put on because of putting the lettering on there. Now what I want to do with these is kind of keep them around the photo, and I need some way to hold them in place. So I thought that I might, first of all, I want to pop them out a little bit, and I need something to conceal the glue. So I'm going to use glue dots, and I'm going to use some rhinestones. I buy these at Hobby Lobby in the jewelry department. Just loose rhinestones, and these are gold. I keep some gold and some clear ones. Those are the ones I tend to use the most, and they do come in some other colors. And I'll put some little pieces of chipboard, and where I get these are like the middles, the middle of an O or a D or whatever. I just save those little pieces of chipboard, and they make great spacers so that my vellum looks like it sort of pops off the page. So I'll glue one of these down so you can see what I'm doing here. Is just gluing that down. It had some adhesive already on it, and I'm going to add some glue dots, and then put the vellum on, and then a glue dot on the rhinestone, and that'll go over the top, so most of that underneath is concealed, and it just looks sort of like it's floating up on the page. And the last thing I'm doing is adding some stickles. I've learned with stickles you better test them out on some regular paper or you'll end up with a lot of stickles. This is the clear to start with. And then I start working with the gold. And my plan is to put gold more up there at the top on where the darker color of paper is. But I got a little carried away and I started coming down the side of the paper. And you'll see at the end, I end up taking this off. I didn't like it. If you put stickles on where you didn't want them, you can kind of take a paper towel and wipe them off real fast, and it doesn't make too much of a mess, fortunately.
Okay, and we have our page done. I did wipe off the gold stickles down here. I just didn't like them, but I did that real fast right after I shut off the camera a while ago. So I was able to put some clear over top and don't really notice that they used to be there. You can see how these kind of sit on top of the layout. I wanted them to look like sort of like they were floating. Kind of continue the image of magical night. I'm turning it a lot of ways because I don't know what it's going to take to get the lighting right so you can see all of the glittery things that are on this page. So followed this sketch pretty good. I put the circles around, just used these rhinestones to kind of cover up where they were being popped up and where the glue was. Did not end up using this paper here, but used quite a bit more journaling for this. And then I don't know about this title. I don't know that I got really quite enough curve in it. But it's what I was going for anyway, or it was what I was trying to achieve. I think if I was doing it again, I might just do a curve one direction instead of trying to do it that way. But anyway, it's a fun page because it was a fun evening, and the whole journaling is over on my blog, and also the sketch. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll check out some of my other videos while you're here.